Welcome everybody to Board Game Breakfast. I'm Roy Kennedy.
I'm Wendy. Are we going this way?
And I'm Chris. You're not allowed to be tired.
It's been a whole week. I forgot how things work.
Wait a minute. We're the ones jet lagged. You've got to come with the energy.
I haven't talked to a soul in like a week.
Yes, I got home yesterday and Wendy just like talked at me for like an hour straight.
I was just like,
that sounds.
And you were
talked
like,
to me for an hour straight, and I was like, woof.
Were you awake that entire hour?
I had my eyes open the entire hour.
Okay.
No,
Remember anything I said?
it's good to be back.
Oh, yeah.
You were dead on the
West.
inside. Hey!
Where it counts.
So, one of the things that you should look forward to is Dice Tower East. We have registration open. So, we just got back from West, and that's on the West Coast. But if you'd like to do something kind of similar on the East Coast in Orlando, check out Dice Tower East. We will all be there. So, make sure to sign up for that, for the registration. And that is going to be over, is it 4th of July?
Yeah, over the week of the 4th of July. I don't remember exactly what date it starts.
It's right after.
Yes.
Is it? Okay,
Yeah,
it's
it
like
starts right after the 4th, I think.
So join us in the summertime and play lots of board games and have little events and things like that.
Yep, Orlando, beautiful place to be, a lot of good food, and people to hang out with.
Well, we're back
Lots of board
after
games.
a week of Dice Tower TV to do a bunch of videos, and we're going to start this week off with Board Game Breakfast. So
Yeah, we've got some cool stuff coming this week. We have to
Sounds
record a bunch and everything, but let's get this one started.
first, we're going to start with some Eyecatchers.
All right, on Eyecatchers, this is a segment where we look at different things that have, well, for lack of a better term, caught our attention.
I'm trying to figure out how to catch someone's eye. Like,
Well,
You need a fishing
you
hook
pull it out,
and no
you, like,
morals.
Throw it.
no morals. Morals not needed.
No. All right, so I'm going to go first here, and this is a thing that that I saw. It's obviously on Board Game Geek and it's been announced and stuff, but I hadn't really seen anything on it until I went to the demo table area at Dice Tower West, and the designer Johan Louvet, a little guy known for working on Turing Machine.
Ooh. I wanted to meet him.
Yeah, he had a demo table over there, and he was showing off a ton of his stuff. You'll see a little bit more in the vlog and everything, but of the stuff that he was showing off, this one caught my eye, Chronologic. So this is co-designed with Fabien Gridel, who's also his co-designer on Turing Machine.
Nice.
Another logic deduction type game. But he goes like, yeah.
But with time?
Well, he's like, yeah. Well, yeah. He's like, unlike the other ones, this one has a story. You know, unlike Turing
very
Machine, which is all
cool.
just like math and numbers.
Okay,
So you can
okay.
see this cover looks fantastic, obviously. And there's going to be 3 of these in different settings. Paris 1920. There's going to be like, you know, something 1450, and then like different periods in history. And so the idea of this one, though, is that there'll be these different stories going on and different
wow.
characters in different rooms. And then, Wendy, as you point out, at different times. So,
Because chronological order.
This gives me an Unusual Suspects vibe a little bit. That's kind of cool.
awkward guests.
Awkward guests. That's what I
Which
meant.
I've
That's what
not
I meant.
played, but yeah.
Ooh, the second I start talking, I'm like hacking up along.
There's humidity here. It's not nearly as dry as it was in Vegas. So
Well,
you
that's
should be
true.
better.
It's got to like moisten everything. Give it time to sink in.
Oh, I think that like
Come back to life, Chris.
I think the allergies are getting to me. Anyway, so yeah, the idea like here's the layout of a house and the murder mystery or whatever, and these
Yeah.
characters all start in a place, but you could grab, kind of like in Turing Machine, there's these things that have like the different holes in them. So you look at a character and you match it up to a time, and then it'll tell you what room. But on top of that, you have some information you get yourself privately, but then there's other information you have to share publicly. So you're getting some deduction information on other people's turns as well.
It's Clue, but modern.
Yeah, it's just got enough of those things. Oh, it's a
Yeah.
little bit Clue, a little bit Awkward Guests, a little bit Turing Machine, and a lot of it. I'm super looking forward to it. So
Yeah, that was
Chronologic.
really cool.
Yep, Fabien Gridel and Johan Louvet.
Good pick. Good
That
pick.
sounds good. All right, my game is Let's Go to Japan. I've never understood why exclamation points end up in the middle of sentences. That's so weird. But
Exclamation
anyways,
points should go everywhere in a sentence. Behind every word.
let's go to Japan! I think I just spit across the room.
If this was an anime-themed game, that would make sense, but this is just a Japan-themed game.
It's a Japan-themed game. So what you're doing is you are planning your trip to Japan, and so it's a simultaneous, simultaneous drafting game. And you've got Tokyo cards, and you've got
Kyoto.
Kyoto, thank you. I was like a different city. And depending on whatever the round is and stuff, you'll draw different cards, and you're planning your vacation, and you're wanting to save drive time, so you don't want to like hop from one city to another constantly throughout the day. But you're trying to align icons and things and basically make the most interesting trip to go on, and then at the end you basically go on the trip and you get all the points for it. But the way that the days work is as you're planning out your days, whatever card is the final card on top, you have some sort of scoring bonus to it, so it's like your highlight of the day card. And so as you're gaining those cards, you can choose to tuck them behind, or you can choose to put them on top. And so you're building your day around that highlight, basically. So yeah, it sounds interesting because it's got that simultaneous action drafting kind of thing going on. But also I really enjoy like puzzles of how to make stuff fit together. And so you want things to really work around your highlights of each day. You want to be able to work with the right cities. So it sounds like a cool puzzle that you're creating. And then at the end of the game, you get to like go through and run it. So you're basically programming your week.
I need this to have the Akihabara expansion that's just all the nerdy things. Akihabara is like North Tokyo, which just has like anime, video games, anime, video games.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yes, that expansion will.
I don't see Akihabara stuff on there. That's interesting.
Not too much. It looks a little
They're
lot
like,
more like
we're
that.
sophisticated Japan. I want to go to Japan and be like, I am a nerd.
I wonder if it's called Let's Go! To Japan. Because I wonder if there's going to be like a series. Let's Go.
That's what I was wondering. So I looked it up. I was like,
To Chris's
is this
basement.
already a series? And it is not, because there's a game called Let's Go!
Oh, interesting.
Exclamation point that is in no way related.
Pokemon,
future
let's
plan.
go to the polls!
See, I want the
Japan.
sushi expansion for that. The sushi
There's
tour
already
expansion.
sushi stuff on there.
Yeah, but I want the tour where that's all you do.
That's all you
So
do.
in Vegas, do they still have the buffets and the buffet tours in Vegas where you get like a pass for? I always see signs when I lived there before.
I don't know anything about
So
this.
it's like affiliated casinos. You would get a buffet pass and you'd pay like your $150 for the day or whatever, and you could go to any of those buffets within that day or within the weekend or whatever.
It's such a scam because like you go to one buffet and you're like, I'm dead.
Yeah.
And I can hit up 7 more today. Like,
That's crazy.
all right. Anyway, no.
That's what I need. I need that version.
Nice. My game is one of my favorite games from the, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, was Robot Quest Arena. And this is where they're making a new standalone game for Robot Quest Arena called Bot Battle.
Were the bots already battling before?
The bots have always been battling and will continue to battle. But yeah, so it comes with like 4 new robots, and they're going to be doing a game found. And I'm just excited to see more stuff for this game because I really enjoy the very much like Big Hero 6 vibe this game gives you or whatever, with the robots battling each other. And it's just a deck building game where you're knocking each other's robots out, but it's not that big of a deal if you get knocked out. You just want to you just pop back in and then just fight some more. You do want to be the person that's like doing the last point of damage to people because it's worth extra points or whatever if you do the last point of damage to people. But yeah, so it encourages you to actually knock the other players out. But it's really cool because you do deck building, get to upgrade and get cool weapons and try to combo stuff together to move here and hit you and then push you into some spikes. And I just want to see all the new stuff for this game.
That's the kind of like fighting games I'm okay with, is when you get knocked out, it doesn't really hurt you.
Right.
It just benefits other people.
Right, yeah.
And so if you get picked on, it's like, it's fine. It's not a big deal.
I played this with my kids and Ruthie, and they all killed me over and over and over again. I'm like, I don't care. You're kind of like letting me spawn wherever I want so I can figure out who else has the weakest hit point so I can jump in on them there. But they loved killing me in the game. And I was like, I didn't mind because I just get to jump back in and kill them back. But it was fun.
Bot battle makes me want to say like Betty bought a bot battle, and the bot battle that Betty bought was bigger, and so Betty bought some better bot battles to bot battle the bigger, better bots.
What is
Just
happening?
feels like a tongue twister.
I know I'm jet lagged, but did I just have a stroke? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, this is cool. Also, it's launching like pretty much when we're done with this show.
I know. I was kind of sad. I'm like, man, if the show was like a couple hours later, we'd be able to talk even more about all the cool robot things.
Welcome to the first 2.5 hour long episode of Board Game Breakfast.
I'm in for it. Let's go.
I will die
People
in
to
this
talk
chair.
to. People to talk to.
Awesome. Well, that is my eye catcher. Let's go on to the next contributors.
Hi everyone, it's Stella and this is Taryn from Maple University. Today we have Alder Duel, which is designed by Vladimir Suchi. It's also an SN2023 release that you haven't actually heard of. Maybe you have.
Who knows? It is a two-player game in a full-size box. It's pretty rare. Normally you get those little boxes. It's a fairly simple game. Each turn you're either going to take cards from a display of 6 or you're going to play one card. And to pay for a card, you have to discard cards that have that resource on them. And those cards may either give you resource production or some points production. It's essentially the bulk of the game.
It's really great because of that engine build element. There are track advancement and there are so many things you can do but so little time. One of them is actually the dual board, so there's like 4 corners, a quarter.
And 3 of the tracks are going to move this marker around.
It's like a wall type of thing. And I just love multi-use card. I just love engine build. So you have to build your production first and then you probably get layer on, you do something else. And the cards are layered as well. There's round 1, round 2, and round 3. It gets more expensive and more powerful.
Yep.
It's really great.
Yeah, the game's got an element of It's a Wonderful World because you can discard cards for the resources to pay for other cards. It's got a Splendor element because the production lets you get cheaper on the other ones. But it's got this really aggressive hate drafting mechanism because you can specialize in something, but then the other player can just take those cards and use them on resources.
Yeah, great game.
This is a segment where we take a look at a board game based on an IP and tell you if the IP and the mechanisms match. Today we're looking at Disney's Haunted Mansion. A quick overview of the Haunted Mansion will be every round you turn over a haunt card. You'll move the hitchhiking ghost, the number of spaces, and in the direction they said. If he passes through you, you gain a haunt card. If he stops in your location, you gain 2. Then you might have a rule that will apply for the round. When it's your turn to move, you can move to an adjacent location, or you can move the whole circle as many times as you want. You can spend an action to grab a card, which will score you points based on the rules of set collection on the card. Or you can even duel with somebody to get more haunt cards in order to steal a card from somebody. Haunt cards are bad because whoever has the highest number at the end of the game must get rid of their set they have the most of and discard them and not score them. You will play a number of rounds based on the number of players, and whoever has the most points is the winner of the game. This game nails the look of the Haunted Mansion, from the Disney artwork to the ride itself. It kind of mesh that in with like the mansion itself and make it look like you're there. And these ghosts, well, first off, the hitchhiking ghosts are moving around and they're hitchhiking. You got their thumbs up and they're moving around the board and they're causing a little bit of chaos. Then you have the ghosts that you're trying to collect. But if you know the ride itself, all of the ghosts kind of go along with what's happening in the ride, and that's really, really neat. It's a ride, and they're trying to make a game out of it, so you have to give them some kind of leeway for that. But to be honest, I think they nailed the feel of the Haunted Mansion and the collecting of the ghosts, where it's 999 ghosts, and you are the 1000th ghost. I think that really works in this game. It has the artwork, it has the feel, and my family really has had a great time with this. So as for the mechanisms and the IP, so they match pretty darn well for a Disney ride board game.
Hello, now we have the top 10, which is exciting. I did say hello. All right, so in the top 10, what we do is we share our top 10, and this particular time is top 10 Vegas things.
Ooh,
things,
top 10
cool things
Vegas
in Vegas.
Yep.
Yeah. I didn't go to Vegas, but I'm from Vegas, so I know all the cool haunts.
You've never
up
go to
in
Vegas?
Vegas. I didn't go for West.
There you go.
There we go.
There we go.
So go ahead and share with us in the comments what your favorite thing to do in Las Vegas is. But we're going to go ahead and get started with mine. And my first one is Springs Preserve. So
You sound so convincing.
This is the only plant life in all of Vegas.
Yeah, this is the 10th coolest thing
It
in all
really
of Las Vegas.
is.
Oh, it's the Springs Preserve, I guess.
What is this? I don't know about this.
So the Springs Preserve is actually based around the original spring, like the water source that Las Vegas was founded around.
Oh, nice.
And then progressively over time, as Vegas grew, that water source was running out, and so that's when Hoover Dam was built and all that kind of cool stuff. But it's now this weird mix between a botanical garden, so it's got all these beautiful plant life kind of stuff for desert, mixed with museums, so there's interesting like historical, cool museum-like stuff that you get to do, as well as like general like kid park things. So it's a little bit pricey to get into, but it's this really cool just experience. You can spend all day there. And the museum stuff's indoors, which is nice. Some of the shows are indoors, like the little educational shows, so that you can cool off. Also, I would go in the spring because
It's called the Spring
it's called
Preserve.
the Springs Preserve, and it's lovely. I had some really cool experiences in college where I got to go volunteer there a couple times and like learn how to prune plants and like plant things and take care of things. So it was a lot of fun for me, but it's a really cool place.
I never learned any of that stuff.
You're like, this is the first time I've ever seen
Yeah.
plant life in real life.
No, it's funny because I look at that picture and I was like, that used to be so like beautiful and green to me. And now I live in South Florida and that looks like nothing. But that
Yeah.
is colorful for Vegas. That dirt is,
terraforming Earth.
that dirt has color to it. It's not just white.
Nice.
Yep. No, Spring Preserve is cool. Is this where they have the butterfly thing that you can walk
Yeah,
through?
they have like a butterfly.
that's cool.
Yeah, one of those like exhibity
Those are always
things.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
super
lots of just
chat
really cool
from,
things in there.
from Lorenz. Thank you, mate.
They also have like
Greetings.
cool
Start
water
for you.
things that the kids can do. They have like little water drums and they have fun stuff for like all different ages, which I appreciate.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Someone pointed in
And
the
they have a
chat.
train ride.
Someone pointed in the chat. We should have done this before Dice Tower West.
That's true.
That would have been helpful to other people. We didn't think of that, clearly.
Yes.
All right, so moving on to number 9.
Oh, my number 9 is pretty basic here. This is just straight up walking the strip. Vegas has all sorts of crazy stuff going on.
As a
all the
local, I
casinos.
say no.
I know. I mean, that's one of the things that I've learned about Vegas too is locals hate the strip. But
yeah.
as a tourist, I mean, I think it's fun.
No, I
think
get
it's
it.
fun.
So cool. Like you.
Walking through all the stuff and seeing all the things, especially, I mean, to me, I've been there a few times now, so I'm like, okay, yeah, I've seen this and this and this. But the first time you go, it's just really fun to see like the fountains and how everything's set up. And even that, it all seems like it's set up like an amusement park, even though it's not. Like, there are roller coasters at some of the hotels as well.
There are, yeah.
So you could actually do all sorts of that great stuff. And I actually rode
yeah.
one of those one year. But yeah, it's pretty interesting and pretty wild walking the strip in Vegas.
Yeah, apparently one of the most exciting things that you can do in Las Vegas, if you're Jason Levine and Joey Evans, is go to the Las Vegas Strip Ross at like midnight to buy
Listen.
a piece of luggage.
They wanted to dress for less.
Did they want a luggage for less?
They wanted to luggage for less.
They wanted a luggage for less.
No, but I get it. Like, growing up in Vegas, I grew up with all this, like, these lights and this glitz and this glamour.
And it's like, meh.
It's just like, it was just a normal
right,
part of
right.
life that, like,
Yeah.
I assumed that when I saw pictures of New York City, that all of those big buildings were casinos. Like, there just was so much that I missed out as a child of understanding how the world worked, because I was like, oh yeah, all the cool architecture and stuff, that's all casinos everywhere, obviously.
Yeah.
Every building is trying to scam you out of your money.
Yeah, every airport has slot machines in it. Moving along. Hey, there's tons of shows. So people are pointing out and talking about other stuff to do besides gamble in Vegas.
Yeah.
Yep, because I've done none of it. But I've been to some of the shows, and I think they're fantastic.
The shows are cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those are really good shows.
I wish I would have thought of it earlier, but that last day I was like, dang, I should have gone to the Sphere. It's really expensive, and I probably shouldn't have. I saved money by not going to the Sphere.
Did you see the outside of the
saved
Sphere?
money.
Because if you see the outside, it's the same as the inside, right?
Well, no, there's like the inside is really cool. I've heard a ton of
inside
people
has-
say it's amazing,
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I didn't realize for a second I thought it was just like who was it, U2 or whoever was in there in the Sphere. I thought it was just that, but I didn't realize they had like this whole like space thing that's
Oh,
inside there,
really?
like where
Yeah.
you're like ticket to Earth or something, or ticket from Earth, or postcard from Earth, something like that. Anyway, but I was like, man,
Nice.
there's like a space like movie thing you get to watch in there. That would be crazy.
It's like nothing but like IMAX screens copy and pasted everywhere. Like, yeah, it's supposed to be really
That's
impressive.
cool.
Yeah.
All
That's
right,
cool.
shows. Lots
All
of
the
stuff
shows.
to do there.
Lots of the shows. Okay, Pinball Hall of Fame. This is really cool. They recently moved over the last, I think, year or so to the Strip, but before this was just kind of near-ish the Strip. But literally, like, a couple hundred pinball machines from all different generations of pinball machines. And then it's kind of like a museum that you can play all of the cool museum things. So the machines cost whatever they originally cost. They cost like $1 to up to $2 or whatever, depending on whether you're playing something old and something new. And then they have little stickers on them where the guy who procured them and fixes them and takes care of them, he like writes up the little bit of the history, like where the game came from, where he bought it, just like, it's really cool stuff. So it's fascinating going there. I went there the first time for a college class. I took this journalism like a journalism and technology class. And we went here to analyze like how technology changed over time and how a lot of like slot machine technology was used in early pinball games and stuff. So just was fascinating. So it's a really cool, fun place to bring the kids, and it can kind of be slightly educational.
Slightly super cool place. Also, the owner of it is not what one would call a people person.
Oh, wow.
He's definitely like a machine person, and people walk up to him and are like, "Wow, this is really impressive what you've done with the place." He's like, "Okay."
But you know what? This place donates tons of money to charity,
Oh,
and
that's
has
awesome.
like through. That's the thing is, this guy retired when he was like 35 from pinball.
From
games.
pinball machines.
From pinball machines.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
Yeah, like he started just having one, and he was like 10 or 12 in his garage, and all the friends from the neighborhood would come and play it. And then that was his like teenage job, was he was just bringing pinball machines to pizza places and dropping them off, and that's how he got
That's
rich.
awesome.
So yeah, so he's got a really cool history if you look up.
Back
That
when you
place
could
is
make a
fun.
living in this country with pinball machines. All right.
knew.
Moving on, Roy, number 6.
My number 6 is Area 15, but specifically Omega Mart there as well. There's a bunch of cool things at that Area 15 thing. There's like, it's kind of like a little, I don't know, it just looks crazy. But even
never been
outside,
there.
they have like escape, like a robot laying on the ground that's like almost escape roomy, and just the whole vibe of the place is just really cool. But Omega Mart is an event or a place we went that's kind of like semi, like escape roomy if you really want to play the game part of it, or just like weird, crazy, like art stuff everywhere. But I don't want to spoil too much of it just because it's a fun thing to go to and explore through. But I had a lot of fun going. We went through this the last time we went to Vegas, and my kids had talked about this like nonstop. I guess they'd watched some YouTube videos about it.
Oh, yeah.
And so like, oh, Mega Mart, it's crazy. And so I like FaceTimed them while I was there. They were super excited, and they're like, we
fun.
want to go. I'm like, maybe someday. I think they're supposed to be, the same company's supposed to be making something like this in Orlando at some point. So I'm like,
They already
oh.
have some in
Really?
Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah, in
That's cool.
Phoenix and Texas, somewhere in Texas, I think. There's like 2 other. They're kind of like, they're like performance art, living experience,
Right.
Kind of things.
But
It's
you can kind of do the storyline, or you
Yeah.
can just like walk around and like laugh at like.
It's just super trippy, you know?
Yeah.
Because I saw some of Joey's pictures / videos, and
Yeah.
I did not know what it was from.
Oh
It's
So I
yeah.
wild.
realized it was this.
It's super,
Yeah.
super trippy, super crazy, and it's cool because you just open the door to a room and you're like, what the crap is this? I kept opening things and being shocked at like opening drawers or opening like this ice thing and just being shocked about what was inside of it and being like, that's wild. Okay, shutting that back. It gives
you
me
can-
slight anxiety because it's weird.
You could also just go and like laugh at the different products. They had something called 96-hour energy.
Oh, yeah.
And the people on the cover are just like, ah. Anyway, I need some 96-hour energy right now.
Exactly.
Number 5, Loopy called this out in the chat.
I should have said this.
Red Rock Canyon. So people are complaining, justifiably so. Shows are expensive in Vegas. Gambling is expensive. A lot of things to do in Vegas are expensive. This is not.
Rocks.
There is a fantastic national park just outside of Las Vegas. A 40-minute drive maybe from the Strip, basically. You can go there. Red Rock Canyon is gorgeous. It's beautiful. It is. It has elevation, unlike Florida. So this picture is from last year.
Yeah.
Not this last trip, but last year. We took a couple of us out there and we just hiked around, bouldered, did some climbing. Like nothing.
It was a lot of fun.
Nothing too wild or dangerous. This picture looks amazing. It looks like we just like scaled up the side of a mountain.
Right. It's all sandstone too, so it's really grippy, so you can climb up stuff so easily.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's just gorgeous. And this is even just the backside of Red Rock Canyon here. There's a lot to explore.
Yeah. And there's like, you can pay to get in the park, which is not that expensive. Your whole car gets in for like $30 or something like that. Or you can just park on one of the little side things, and there's a couple side trails you can go on without paying if you're like real cheaping it up.
That's number 5, Red Rock Canyon.
Sweet. All right, the Bellagio Atrium. So this is like the only place on the Strip that I go, and I love it. So this atrium inside the Bellagio is just this flower garden, beautiful, like magical filled place that gets changed every 3 months. So it's got this seasonal thing. And you look at that picture and it looks, you know that Willy Wonka fake thing that the news has been talking about? Right?
Oh.
This picture looks like that, right? How it looks like so beautiful. Well, this is how it actually looks. It's not like fake like that Willy Wonka thing. But it's gorgeous, it's beautiful, and they change it all the time. And so it's just literally this magical wonderland that you can walk into. And it's just there, it's just free. Like you go to the casino and you walk in and you can see it. And so it's
crazy.
beautiful. When I was in college, I lived relatively close to the Strip, and this is what my roommates and I would do every 3 months. We'd go and we see whatever the new atrium thing was. It was gorgeous.
All right, moving on to number 3, Roy.
My number 3, and most importantly, all the food.
Someone in the chat
Yes.
literally was like, why are they talking about food yet? Well, because it's
because
here.
I needed to be a higher number. This is the highest number I was allowed to put on the list, and I put food. So we always go to Paris and get crepes. Korean barbecue is a must. I do all-you-can-eat sushi. The buffets are crazy there. There's tons and tons of amazing food. And even just like driving, like me and Ruthie are driving to get food or driving coming back from getting food, and we're just like, look at all these other food places that I'd love to try out. So I don't know how you guys like.
That's what I missed. Like one of the things I miss the most.
Right.
Is the food.
Yeah, I mean Miami is pretty big, but like it doesn't have food like all over the place. Like
Yeah.
Vegas just has like restaurants that all look really good, all right beside each other. You're like, holy smokes, all these cool places that
Yes.
that I'm not here enough to actually like explore all of them. It's really cool.
I forgot I was going to put a picture in here that Eric, Summer, and I, and Mike,
I love that picture.
we were driving by. There's all these like great, in the Spring Mountain Strip of Chinatown. Chinatown. There's Chinese, Korean, Japanese, Thai, Vietnamese. There's so many great food places.
Yeah.
There's this sign where like the fonts of these two clearly different businesses like look the same right next to each other. So it says, "Hot and Juicy Crawfish Massage."
It's with the same color font. That's the part that really messes up.
Oh, it's
cracks
like
me
hot
up.
stones, except for crawfish. That'd be good for your skin.
Well, then number
It's acupuncture and massage at the
Oh,
same
yeah,
time
yeah.
with the crawfish.
the shrimp are bitey. Number 2, I put Meepleville Board Game Cafe.
Yes.
I love this place. This was Wendy and I's Friday date night.
Oh, yeah.
This was my Wednesday midweek heavy Euro game group meetup here. There are plenty of friends that we made from here, and plenty of these friends able to see at at the convention and stuff. So this is a great place. So if you're
So
ever
many good
in
memories.
Vegas, if you're looking for a great gaming place, this place is phenomenal. And of course, the number 1 is usually voted on by the audience, but we superseded that.
true.
We said, "Whammo!
Oh, there we go.
It's just Dice Tower West."
Number 1 was bought out by the Dice Tower.
But also, were there any in the chat that jumped out?
Oh, I didn't actually read the
I
chat.
didn't actually read the chat. You know, people were talking about other places too. I saw like Albuquerque and stuff being mentioned. So now I don't know what.
That's not in
is
Las
related
Vegas.
to
I'm
anything.
sorry. That's a very unfortunate.
Mojave Desert.
Yeah, Red Rock Canyon.
Hoover
people are
Dam.
talking about.
Yeah, that's cool. Hoover
Yeah.
Dam can be super cool. There's actually a tunnel from Nevada to Arizona that I remember going on as a kid.
Tunnel.
A tunnel, yeah, like underneath
Secret tunnel.
underneath Hoover Dam or around Hoover Dam. That's got like
Oh, not from Las. I was like, there's like a
No,
tunnel
no.
from Vegas all the way to.
no.
No, I know people mentioned the Bellagio fountains, of course, right? But you went
Yeah.
with the atrium.
Yeah, I specifically went with the atrium, but the fountains are cool too.
Oh, the Neon Museum. That's right. Yeah, there's some cool different museums, Las Vegas style.
I've always wanted to do the Mob Museum. I've never done that.
Yeah.
That one seems really cool. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool things.
Yep. So anyway, there you go. Top 10 things from Vegas.
Happy breakfast, everyone. Today I'm here to talk to you about District Noir, which is a brand new 2-player little card game from Pandasaurus Games. This says 15 minutes on the box, but it's easily played in 10, as you're going to be either playing the cards from your hand or, at some point in a round, taking 5 cards from the middle. And that's what you are doing each round. You are either playing one of the 5 cards into the middle, adding it to the end of the row, or taking the 5 cards from the end of the row into your sort of tableau. That tableau is going to be scoring you points, hopefully, at the end of the game. You've got green cards, just points. Red cards, just negative points. And then you've got the 5, 6, 7s and 8s. You've got the most 5s at the end of the game, that's 5 points. You've got the most 6s at the end of the game, that's 6 points. You see where this is going, 7, 8 points. But there's 3 cards in the box which are city cards. If you get them at any point, all 3 of them in your tableau, you just win. It doesn't matter how many negative points you've got with them, it doesn't matter what else you've got. If you get the 3 city cards, you win. So there's a little extra spice in there, but otherwise it is that sort of set collection gameplay where you are trying to make sure you've got the majority of those 5, 6, 7s and 8s to score big. And when do I take from that market? There's a loads of negatives. But maybe one of those negatives was something you played. Maybe to stop your opponent grabbing them, sort of thinking, trying to put them off a little bit. And, well, it's just a short little fun, fillery card game. Like I say, 10 minutes, you're done. Normally, though, we've played again straight away. We've shuffled up and gone again. But that is District Noir from Pandasaurus Games. Let me know if you've played it in the comments section below, and enjoy the rest of your breakfast.
Hey, I'm Jordan. Let's talk about a weeknight game. I may have already talked about this game in this series of clips or whatever for Board Game Breakfast that I do. I don't know. If I have, it's been years. This is Rift Force. Rift Force is from Capstone Games. I've recently started playing it again after not playing it for a number of months, maybe a year or so. It was recommended for the Kinderspiel. I didn't know that. I got the expansion, and it doubled the amount of content in this game. And I thought that was awesome. This is just a game with a whole bunch of cards in it. It's a card battler where you are battling an opponent who has cards across from you, and you're trying to knock out their cards. They're trying to knock out your cards. You're scoring points based off the cards that you knock out. Each game, you have 4 of these different elementals that you're kind of mashing together, almost smash-up style, and then you're just going to battle your opponent trying to get these points before your opponent does. The expansion adding so much additional content opens this game up tremendously. And it's like the best kind of expansion that a game can have, where it just kind of gives you, the base game was wonderful as is, and it just gives you more variety and more replayability and so many more options. This is awesome. The expansion has really kind of resurrected this game for me, which I already enjoyed, but it's been so good. So that's Rift Force. Check it out. 2-player game. Hopefully you can find it. I'm Jordan. Thanks.
What we do here is go back.
Hey, we're here for Old School Games, and today, the Old School game we're going to be talking about is a game that actually, for some reason, I would consider this a game that I played before I was a hobby board gamer, and this is Betrayal at House on the Hill. So Betrayal at House on the Hill is this classic game that's known for being broken like crazy, but it's also extremely thematic and just has these interesting moments, because basically the entire game you're exploring a haunted mansion and rolling the dice each time you get, I guess, an omen card, and eventually the number of omen cards will not match the number of pips you got on the dice or something like that, and you'll fail, and then a hunt will happen, and then normally the person that found the thing will either be the traitor, or they're the person that's the hero that has to hold the item and probably to stab the traitor somehow, because that kind of happens a lot. And sometimes the game just falls apart in so many strange ways, but there's so much theme and so many crazy things going on in this game.
Well, and then you don't know, like, there's a bajillion different scenarios.
Right, and you
which
don't
is
know
why
exactly
it
what's
can
going to
be so
happen.
broken. But yeah, you just don't know what's going to happen. Someone was telling me that they, like, ended up in a submarine one, where, like, their submarine was running out of oxygen. And I'm like, in Betrayal?
Yeah, I've had
But, like,
ones where like
there's
this
just
giant
random-
plant happens and pollen's attacking you, and then Chris sneezes for the entire stream. It's been great.
Been there, done that. Don't recommend it.
But
Yeah.
this is a fun and wacky game, and I do like the fact that it is kind of like it's a team game overall, and
Yeah.
I do like being on the cooperating team, like working together to try to stop the other one player. That's always fun, especially when your teammates are like there's one room and I'm in the workout room, and if I stay in the workout room, I can get 1 strength each turn. It's like, hey guys, we're supposed to be defeating the bad guy, but I'm getting stronger.
This is one of those that if this was my first time playing it with a group of people that had all played, and if I ended up being the person that had to go in the other room and like read my own instructions, that would be stressful.
There's that rule that everybody jokes about, is like the newest player to the game always ends up being the traitor. You know?
It happened the first time that we played to me.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, there are situations in this game that are just completely unwinnable, or like I went to the other room, I read my like secret betrayer thing, I was like, uh-oh. I walked back and I looked at the different player stats. I was like, I have to kill Wendy's character with brain, like with mental kill, and I was like, she got this like magic ring that like set her dial all the way up to 10. I'm like rolling 1 die against her 6. I was like, I'm literally never gonna kill her with brain juice death.
But I do think there's rules in there. It's like, oh, you need to you can steal this thing or that thing from someone, and when you attack them instead of doing a regular attack. I mean, there's all sorts of weird stuff and finicky stuff in the game that's kind of like, what if this happens, rules that thing, and sometimes it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense, you know?
No.
Yeah.
So,
But it always creates an experience.
oh, for sure.
It always creates a memory.
It is funny though, when someone said you have to lean into the broken, right?
Yeah,
Like,
you really do.
You really can't approach this game as like, this is a game I want to win, which I know some people might say, well, then this game is completely like, you know, for example, overrated or something, because it's it's fundamentally broken like half the time. You might just get stuck in the grass or find an underwater pool on the second story of your house.
This is a game that you literally just have to play casually, you know?
Yeah.
It's just a game that
this is not
like
for
you
serious.
sit back and see what happens, just because, you know, sometimes it's going to be crazy, sometimes it's going to be wacky, sometimes the haunt's going to happen, and that the person who's the traitor just immediately kills everybody. And that's just kind of the way this game works sometimes. It's not necessarily balanced, but it does create some kind of story after you're done with it, you know?
I think it just ultimately needs to be, at least in this day and age, a little more approachable. And I think that's why so many people, even right now in the chat, are like, Scooby-Doo version is the best one.
Yeah.
Because they really made that one more approachable.
Right.
And did things like you can pick who the betrayer is, like those types of things.
I do think the Scooby-Doo one's going to be way more geared towards kids overall. So, but if you're playing with adults, I'd probably still end up playing this one or whatever. This is one that I probably should bring out with like my more casual gamer friends, because I think they'd actually have a blast with it, even if it was broken and crazy, you know?
Right.
So,
Yeah, it's got some good stuff.
Yeah, 20 years old, man. Betrayal,
That's
House on the
crazy.
Hill. What, 3rd edition?
Hello, I'm back with more Board Game Geek statistics, and today we're going to continue the higher and lower game that we did this last couple of episodes. Anyway, you can play along. This is about games released in 2023, and we're going to compare the different mechanisms and categories of games in a game of higher and lower. So, for instance, the seed mechanism is set collection. 549 games released in 2023 was tagged with set collection. But what about party games released in 2023? Is that amount higher or lower? I'm going to do 3 questions. You can tally your score and let me know in the comments below how you did. Okay, 5 seconds from now. Is it higher or is it lower? What do you think? So it's lower. 546 games. So it's very, very close, isn't it? So, second question. What about games tagged with legacy games released in 2023? Is that amount higher or lower? What do you think? What's it gonna be? It is lower. Only 23 games. But it's very popular still, right? Okay. What about games released in 2023 that contains singing? The mechanic singing. Do you think that is higher or lower than 23 games? You got 5 seconds on the clock. Higher or lower? And time's up. It's 11 games. If you want to see the slides from any of my segments, this segment, you can go to bttstats.wordpress.com, and then I'll add a little bit of extra statistics, of course. Otherwise, have a nice breakfast.
Wow, Dave, this is amazing. So if I play this card, which I will do now, we all draw a card from the deck. We all gain a food from the supply, and then I draw an additional card. Okay. What are you doing?
Drawing a card.
That's my card.
We both get a card.
But I'm the active player, so I should draw the first card.
The deck is shuffled.
Hi, my name is Ilka Luza.
My name is Dave Luza, and this is a thing.
It's a thing. We argue about this quite regularly.
It's shuffled cards. It should not matter which one of these two.
How can I explain this to you? It was my card. It was supposed to go into my hand.
But you don't know what it is?
Of course I don't, but I want it.
But it's random. It shouldn't matter.
We don't need marriage counseling. Don't get this wrong. We play games like this quite often. Wingspan, Earth, you get it. Where you get a lot of cards. And you should be the active player, the first one to draw from a deck of cards.
It's a terrible card. Do you want it?
That's beside the point.
Well, then it's beside the point. It was a random card that I got and a random card that you get. We both get a random card. Doesn't matter if you get the first or the second or the last or the bottom card of the deck. It's random.
I love my husband, but he's so wrong.
Prove it.
Okay, let's play.
My name is Dave Luza.
I'm Ilka Luza, and I think we need help.
All right, well, it's old school time. Today we're going to take a look at a review that Tom did, 8 years ago now. My favorite Dice Tower review video ever.
This one's your favorite?
This one's my favorite. This one is for a little game called Mr. Game.
Oh, Mr. Game.
The chaotic party game. There's a few reasons I really, really adore this review. Tom's very lethargic. Opening statements of, I guess I have to review games. And you can tell that he has absolutely no... many times... That's the component drop, by the way.
That's it.
That's how little he cared. Many times when we review a game, we want to appear kind of neutral at the beginning. And even if we like it or dislike it, we're not exactly trying to telegraph our feelings on it. And this is the opposite.
He's 100% just like pieces. Crap.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
He said he literally threw the deck of cards across the room as he was playing in the middle of the game. And then when he goes to show you cards, it's like a hot mess. And he's like, this is because I threw it across the room.
This is where he shows off the D4s that you roll at the Cal drops. He's like, because the designers hate humans. I mean, like, this is just, the whole thing is the most sarcastic. Oh my gosh. And folks, do yourself a favor and watch this review. This is one that I wholeheartedly recommend just for the entertainment value alone. In fact, it's part of this one. So Derek did this little touch here with the
rage meter,
the rage-o-meter and stuff. It's like watching little videos like this, the touches that that Derek, the previous video editor, threw in. They're like, I'm going to do some stupid stuff like that in Dice Tower videos that I edit. Yeah. You know, we put out a lot of stuff, and you can't do clever, like silly things all the time. But when there's a gem like this, you gotta
ham it up.
You gotta ham it up.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, there's like in this game, it's like a roll and move. It's a terrible and all the stuff.
A roll move with D4s.
A roll move with D4s.
And rules that you get to make up yourself.
Yeah, like there's literally whole sections that don't explain rules, and it's like whoever's the owner of Mr. Game is Mr. Game and gets to decide what happens in this situation.
So they were designing a game and then they just stopped and said, you guys finish it up for me.
Rules, but
Oh man. Yeah, folks, please go ahead and watch Mr. Game Review with Tom Vassell.
I love it.
I shall say no more so that you get to experience it.
Hello, my name is Aaron and welcome to One Word, One Question. Today's word is tie. And no, I'm not talking about the spiffy ones that Tom Vassell wears. Rather, I'm talking about a draw in a board game. And the question is, what do you prefer happens in a board game in the event of a tie? So answer A, if you prefer to simply leave it as a tie game, both players win or whoever else is tied. Answer B, if you prefer there to be one or two tiebreakers, perhaps the number of coins or the player who has the first player token. Answer C, if you want the game to keep breaking it down until there is an absolute winner. So whether that requires 5 or 6 different tiebreak rules, you just want someone to win the game. Now, as for myself, I am in Group B. I prefer there to be 1 or 2 tiebreaks because I feel like any more than that, and it's probably an issue with the game scoring. But that's just my perspective. Let me know yours in the comments, and if you enjoy the content, consider subscribing to Board Games, Bricks, and Hobbies. Take care. Bye.
Hello, this is Oliver, and today I am going to be talking about a delicious dessert game called Pies by Allplay. And a few things I like about this game is, number one, the dog in the game, which allows you to put in front of your pies so your pies don't get stolen from you. And it just adds a whole entire variable. Like, if you're getting beaten up in the game and you have this really nice card that you want to keep, then you can keep it with the dog. Another thing is the pies in the game. Like, you can add pies to your card. Say you have all low cards, you can add it to that card, and you can make it boost it from like a 3, and it'll add like +9 if you have 3 pies. And that'll might make you win, which is a really cool thing. I feel like if these things weren't introduced, the game would be a little teeny bit bland. Another thing I like is that it's like if set collection and trick taking had a baby, because it has that like where you're putting down cards and whatever's the highest number wins and like dealing out cards, but it also has that aspect of like you collect certain cards and then you're trying to get like 2 of each like fruit for your pies. So it's like a little bit of both, and I really like both types of games, so it might be the perfect game for me. But one thing that I don't really like is I just wish that you couldn't take your own card when you win a trick, because it just gives other people no hope. But not to end it on a bad note, this is a really fun game, and it's the perfect game that you need to play on Pie Day. Have a great breakfast. Bye.
Tim's face on it.
All right. Well, it is time to go to the old trusty mailbag. Rather than having a very traditional mailbag, we filmed one just live from, I shouldn't say live, we filmed one at Dice Tower West.
Well, my favorite part of Dice Tower West is, of course, having all the people, and also, since we started it, seeing where it's come to this day. And it's all thanks to the fantastic attendees we have, right? Because MeepleCon 1 was a one-day convention with just a little over 200 people. Now we're up to a full 5-day convention. We had over 3,300 people this year. Just walking through the halls and seeing people play games, enjoying themselves, having a wonderful time, and knowing that Dave and I started it, from just a one-day convention, just seeing what it's grown to, is just incredible. And we just thank everybody for being a part of it. It's absolutely fantastic. So thank you all for seeing our hard work, our hard efforts come to this. It's just been phenomenal. So that's what Dice Tower West means to me, and that's what makes me so happy about the whole convention.
So I probably should introduce Tim, if you aren't familiar with Tim Metivier. He's one of the 3 heads of Dice Tower West. And so we've known Tim for a long time, like a long time now.
We have. In fact, we met him because we wanted to go to the previous version of Dice Tower West, MeepleCon, and we wanted to go there cheap because we were poor college students. And so we volunteered.
Yeah, we volunteered.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We got to know him pretty well there, and we've known him for years and years before what was MeepleCon became Dice Tower West. And so Tim's done such a great job. He's talking about how much the convention's grown, even from when it first became Dice Tower West, but even from before that, when it was kind of just like very much a local, Las Vegas locals convention.
Yeah.
It's really gnarly what it's become now.
Yeah.
So,
Tim is awesome, and Dice Tower West is a blast.
Yeah. We're going to have a whole vlog from Dice Tower West where you'll get to see some more of the specifics and stuff, but yeah, did you have any highlights you want to talk about?
I think our events this time were a lot of fun. We did the game show, and I felt like that was fun. We do game shows at a lot of our stuff, but the top 5 particularly was like really cool too.
Because it was overrated games, right?
It was overrated games, so like people were. The whole room was. it seemed like it was packed almost, and then just everybody just having fun and just being a part of it.
Literally
you know?
dissing on everyone's favorites. So that's fun.
I was excited because I got to do a little designers panel. Tim actually asked me to be a part of it, and I've never been on anything like that. So I was like, well, I've designed one game. Let me invite people that actually know what they're talking about to this. So I got got John DeClaire and Paul Denton. John DeClaire is, of course, Ready, Set, Bet and Space Base and all that stuff. And Paul Denton did Dune Imperium and Clank and stuff. So these guys that I look up to, I got to ask them questions about board game design and pretend like I knew what I was talking about as well. So that was fun too.
Yeah.
So, and then just playing all the games. It's
Playing
fun.
games. The vendor hall was super strong. One of the things that I tried to make sure to really capture in the vlog is that the vendor hall, I think, was pretty dang good, but along the entire side of the main room, there was these demo tables.
Yeah.
So a mix between Envoy double exposure, where they have volunteers go out to teach games, and they get convention passes and stuff. You teach a game a certain number of times, and you
I was
one-hit wonder.
I was just
Roy.
pointing at Vincent Frog. Not gonna let it happen.
What was it? Anyway, so double exposure Envoy, they have the great volunteer program where people go out there teach games for the whole con. They also had representatives from the different companies. So Board and Dice was out there, and people from. I'm drawing a blank right now on a lot of the company names, but a lot of the companies had people out there, reps and stuff, showing off new upcoming games, things that'll be released this summer.
I saw Play to Z had Ascending Empires.
Oh yeah. Currently wrapping up, I think, their crowdfunding campaign this week.
Game.
So yeah, stuff like that. There's just a really neat, different extra fixture that helps make the convention feel more built up and really cool. Mike Delicio and I did a tournament. Taylor Riner, Taylor's Trick Taking Table, put together a sale. This is a sale tournament. It's
nice.
Co-op team trick taking game, but it was teams of two, and there was a bunch of us lined up down this table. He put up Captain Sonar shields in between each of the teams.
That's funny.
It was wildly unnecessary, but it really felt like you're all right, we're locked in, Mike, just you and me up against everyone else. How far are we going to sail our ship? Not very far. Mike and I screwed up so badly, and the team right next to us.
You didn't trump everyone else?
No, man, we got wrecked. And the team next to us, made it past the second round of the game when literally everyone else just sank into the ocean. And they're
wow.
Hey, you're the winner of the tournament. And they're like, we're doing pretty well. Can we just finish out the game?
I love it.
Yeah, so they made it all the way to the end. They smoked us. There's just events and things like that kind of filled out the convention and made it a little more robust this year that I thought was really neat.
Yeah.
That's fun. In the chat, someone was asking if the library comes from Meepleville, since Tim is associated with Meepleville too. And that was the way it was originally, when the convention was first starting before it was West. But no, it has its own separate library now.
Yeah,
and it's a separate library from East.
Yeah, there was a year where we brought our library over there, but now we have a whole separate Dice Tower West library, which is actually huge with tons of good games in it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I've been inside the storage location they have for that, and it's thoroughly impressive. Just having all of those shelves lined up. It's bigger than the Dice Tower East library. They don't have Wendy to,
but
manicure the library and keep it.
I do at Snails.
One of the things that Tim prides himself on too is they have I think almost every single one of the games in the top 1,000 on Board Game Geek. So
yeah,
that's impressive.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's a lot. So yeah, it's a huge library. It's very full. But yeah,
it's over 3,000 games, right?
Yeah. So it is significantly larger than the East and the Cruise library that we have out here. But one of the things that I also was really impressed with is that they've for a few years now run a prototype con within the convention, and so people bring in their prototypes. They workshop through them. I was talking with some of the people in the demo area that have upcoming Kickstarters who started off that same game 2 years ago in the prototype room, and now it's going to Kickstarter.
Oh, that's cool.
And just kind of seeing hey man, that really helped people. And I love that. They had a whole, did you ever go to this year's new feature, the trading card game room?
No, I went to the Lord of the Rings room, which was also impressive, where they have multiple games of War of the Ring, and then the Lord of the Rings, all sorts of Lord of the Rings stuff.
The giant miniatures game.
Did you feel like you were in Middle Earth?
I felt like
in
I
the
shouldn't be
room.
there with my shoes on. Like you have to have barefoot hobbits in there. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, your feet ain't hairy enough for this room.
Oh man, I don't want to see those feet.
They had a trading card game room, so Night and Day Games was one of the main sponsors. So they sponsored a whole side room where they were running Star Wars Unlimited, as well as Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh and some of those some of those like TCG type things.
Nice.
But it was a really good vibe. Like I went in there, everyone was very friendly. You know, there's the stereotype.
Right.
There's the stereotype around like competitive card game players. And that room was just really there for fun.
Gotcha.
And I
Cool.
thought they did a really good job doing that and being kind of a fixture of the convention. And I'd love to see that again next year. I thought that was a really cool extra feature they had. So yeah, just a couple of standout things from Dice Tower West this year.
Awesome.
Nice.
All right.
Well, that will wrap it up. And this has been another episode of Board Game Breakfast. We have a lot of things. This is, other than the fact that we weren't starting on Monday, we have basically a full week for all of you guys. So make sure to come back for all of our normal live shows and all the rest of the stuff coming up this week.
The top 10 slot on Thursday this week is going to be the top 5 overrated games live from Dice Tower West. We recorded that with the equipment that we had available, so you know.
It's not going to be as
So yeah, I
high
haven't looked at
quality.
it yet. I'm hoping the audio is great, so don't complain too much. I'm sorry.
But we'll
happens.
get to be able to bring that show and make sure that everyone who wasn't able to make it gets to see it. And
You can be
everything.
there for the lulls and the cheers and the booze.
There were boos given, and not only towards me, so I felt very good about
man, I
that.
loved it. But yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. I've been Roy Candy. We're doing a different order
I'm
this
Chris
time?
Yee.
And I want to eat.
I was getting ready. I was like, well,
Chris
here's
would
the
want to say
wind
I
up.
continue to be Chris Yee because he always says that when I say I've been Roy Candy. Anyway, let's hit the outro.
I'm Chris.
Bye.